The son of Zimbabwe's late former president, Robert Mugabe, is due to appear in court in South Africa later today. Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe and another suspect are expected before the Alexandra Magistrates Court, facing charges of attempted murder. They were arrested after the alleged shooting of a 23-year-old gardener at Mugabe's home in Hyde Park, that's north of Johannesburg. The victim is reported to be in critical condition in hospital. Lerato Makola reports.
29-year-old Bellarmine Mugabe and another unidentified suspect were brought in for questioning in relation to a shooting incident at the Mugabe residency on Thursday. A 23-year-old man who works as a gardener at the residence was allegedly shot following an alleged work-related dispute. Police spokesperson Dimakatso Nebohului says the victim sustained gunshot wounds and remains in critical condition in hospital.
The police can confirm that the two men that were brought in for questioning in connection to a shooting that occurred at Hyde Park have been officially arrested and are expected to appear before Alexandra Court soon on charges of attempted murder.
Nebohului says despite an extensive search involving police sniffer dogs and divers who searched the swimming pool at the property, the firearm that was allegedly used in the shooting incident has not been found.
We cannot rule that out. The gun has not been found, so obviously we cannot rule that one out because the gun cannot be found. So definitely there might be a third hand that is involved that knows where the gun is. But that is something that we are looking at in terms of our investigation.
Security strategist Andy Mashaile believes the crime scene may have been tampered with deliberately.
Someone on the inside removed that firearm to ensure that the crime scene is contaminated. This is an intentional contamination of the crime scene to mess up the evidence so that the individual cannot be arrested by the police. This means that there is an intentional defeating the ends of justice.
The lawyer for one of the suspects, Nhlanhla Mnguni, says they will allow the legal process to take its course.
At this stage, I'm not at liberty to disclose anything. I think we just want the process to unfold. There's still a lot that needs to happen. We just want the police to conduct the investigation so that we can proceed with the matter and attending to whatever necessary steps to enforce the rights of our client.
Following the suspect's arrest, a number of prominent personalities visited the Mugabe home and spoke to the horde of journalists camping outside the property, claiming to be speaking for the Mugabes. This is what the family said in a statement released over the weekend.
It has not appointed, authorized or mandated any public relations team, media consultant or spokesperson to speak on its behalf. Accordingly, any statements, commentary or representation made by any third party claiming to act for or represent the family are false and should be disregarded in their entirety.
It's unclear whether additional charges will be added as investigations continue. Lerato Makula, SABC News in Johannesburg.
A fresh morning, a fresh perspective. Stay tuned to Rise and Shine on Channel Africa.
Africa has the world's youngest population, and investing in youth today will shape the continent's future. At the recent AU Assembly in Addis Ababa, leaders set the 2026 theme of the year, ensuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve Agenda 2063, while highlighting youth empowerment, skills development and inclusive growth. Turning these commitments into tangible impact at community level is now the challenge. To discuss how this can be achieved through sport, education and leadership programs, we joined from the UK by Professor Geoff Thompson, MBE, founder and chair of Youth Charter. Professor, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So thanks for making time for us. Let's start here with the AU's 2026 theme, having focused on water and sanitation. Why is this such a critical issue for Africa's youth today?
I think it's critical because our young people are the product of their environment. The environment and water is a significant challenge in the everyday lives of young people and the communities that they have to realize their potential. So I think the the announcement, the commitment, and the year of sustainable water and availability and safe sanitation to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063 are in fact an opportunity to begin now to establish an engagement and equipping and empowering our young people in the environment as we build and lead up to the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. And that means a more holistic and integrated approach with the acceptance and acknowledgement of the African Union that the empowerment of digital innovation, skills and development ensures that the central pillars of continental transformation can indeed be achieved. So I see the challenges and opportunities, and if Africa's youth are our greatest asset, the commitments made must translate into something that young people can see in their everyday lives and everyday opportunities.
So what about the sport can be a powerful tool? You've said that sport can be a powerful tool for youth empowerment, and maybe looking at the community campus model's use of sport to engage and support young people at grassroots level.
Yes, the community campus has been developed over many years of our work in Africa and the rest of the world. And we felt that Sport for Development for Peace is a wonderful mission aim, but it must translate into something tangible and something that young people can see gives them the opportunity to realize their potential. So the campus was developed as a youth and community engagement model with a cultural framework that sees us engage young people with sport, art, culture, and digital. The digital element is critical. Last week, the Secretary General of the UN asked for the global community to invest £32 billion to address the AI and digital inequalities of the continent. So therefore, if we equip them with sport, art, culture, and digital, we empower them with the ability to aspire to further higher education, employability, and entrepreneurship. I believe that develops an ecosystem that gives social, cultural, and economic hope and opportunity. But we can also map, track, and measure the impact of this community campus approach with the sustainable goals of education, health, gender equality, safer communities, skills, transferability into opportunity, and realized ultimately with a carbon net zero consideration. So a holistic and integrated approach, a model that's sustainable, impactful, and evidenced, and provides that social, cultural, and economic win-win-win investment to young people, communities, and the continent.
Let's zoom in on gender issues then, and particularly girls. Safe water and gender-sensitive sanitation facilities are something that's central to your work. How do these directly impact girls' participation when it comes to sport and education?
So, for example, we know in everyday school life, girls face significant challenges simply in the sanitation and the water that they need in order to be able to play safely and to compete and participate in sport in the development of their mental, physical, and emotional health and well-being. I believe that the installation of safe water access through a community campus model provides gender-sensitive sanitation facilities to support girls' participation. That means safe and conducive environments, that an integration of education and sport and cultural programs actually is underpinned by safeguarding frameworks, and it's aligned to the AU youth policies. The challenges at the moment of the policies are divergent. We need to make them convergent, we need to make them holistic, and we need to have girls' participation front and center. I think it would be accepted and acknowledged that boys have greater participation opportunity. But I believe with this approach, we can significantly empower and see greater participation for girls and see the benefits not only for sport, but for the development of their potential in life.
We've got the Summer Youth Olympics in Dakar on 2026 happening on the continent. It's the first Olympic branded event for Africa. How can this one be used to create lasting benefits for local communities?
Significant opportunity. We at the Youth Charter are working with the French Development Agency. We're working with a number of NGOs to ensure that the Youth Olympics in Dakar is a legacy opportunity for all. We'll be bringing the community campus model. We'll be presenting projects, programs, and initiatives, but more importantly, building on the call to action to see legacy not just as an aspiration, but an inspiration of real and tangible benefits not only to the young people who will participate, but we will see in that, once I say first footprint of an Olympics and Paralympics being hosted in the continent in the future, this is a significant step forward and way forward.
And of course, funding and partnerships will be essential. What role do governments, the private sector and philanthropic organizations play when it comes to scaling up the community campus model across the continent?
It's a critical, important, and at times challenging, I suppose, environment in which you can achieve that unique funding, sustainable investment. And I believe that this is not charitable, it is an investment. So that unique economic, public-private, third sector funding is what I believe should see a youth fund for Africa that can actually see the formal engagement by the African Union to the community campus. And we want to pilot these campuses in 3 to 5 member states. But the collaboration is critical. But we believe that if we get that unique investment, is that it can have real, tangible confidence of further investment, because the public-private blended financing is critical. And I believe with the existing global institutions, but more importantly, the type of funding that invests into the Youth Olympics can actually be used as a legacy of continued investment with sustainable and growth realized.
So if we look ahead then, what would success look like for Youth Charter Africa over the next 3 years, particularly when it comes to helping to deliver the goals of Agenda 2063?
What real success looks like is our global call to action in relation to Africa. We want to see 50 community campuses across the continent, well, 54 campuses. We'd like to see over 1 million young Africans really tangibly taken from their journey in the communities where these priorities have been identified by the African Union, and build, grow and scale the opportunities which will be tangibly evidenced by improved quality of life in the communities, by skills, digital, transferable, and more importantly, giving jobs and enterprise to the continent and benefiting to the global community. But these are real, tangible objectives, real models of engagement, equipment, empowerment, and social, cultural, economic hope and opportunity for the young people and communities of Africa.
Professor, thank you so much for your time, and we'll leave it there for now. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you for the opportunity.